President Ronald Reagan was among the leaders who dared to declare that communism was not just flawed, but doomed. A sad, bizarre chapter destined for the ash heap of history. And his resolve helped hasten that collapse. Today, history is again gathering itself for a decisive turn. And this time, the stage is Iran. Just as the Soviet Union rotted from within, paralyzed by economic stagnation, suffocated by censorship, and hollowed out by a people who no longer believed, the Islamic Republic of Iran now trembles on the edge of profound upheaval. Many universities, newsrooms, and the parliament still cling to illusions, but reality is overtaking their hesitation. Most of them will be caught by surprise. We will not. It is our duty to warn, to explain, and to awaken those who still underestimate the scale of what is coming. This is not a casual task. It is a serious responsibility, must not be taken lightly. The economic catastrophe is chained to something even darker: the regime's medieval laws and its rigid, theocratic worldview. The roots of today's crises reaches back to the winter of 1979 and an ideology that twisted worldly needs into religious dictates, smothering free thought and strangling innovation. This regime's economic policies violate the most basic natural rights of Iranians: to life, to liberty, to poverty, and to honest work and production. They have reduced citizens to subjects forced to beg permission from clerics for what every human being should exercise as a birthright. Iranians remember another reality. Under Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi, the country was on a path of empowerment and prosperity. And millions still remember that era as a time when advancement, dignity, and hope were not crimes. Today, the people openly demand a system of government that can restore that dynamism and that sense of a happy, possible future. That is why nationwide protests have now surged into their second week. Demonstrations are no longer confined to a few major cities. They have spread across dozens of provinces into rural areas that once formed the core of the regime's support. Faced with the awakening, the security forces have answered not with dialogue, but with bullets. Reports already confirm at least 7 martyrs, ordinary Iranians shot down in cities such as Lordegan, Aznan, and Kuhdasht, among many wounded and detained. Each of these names will be written into the story of Iran's national rebirth. Iran now stands on the threshold of serious and fundamental change. What happens in Tehran, Mashhad, Shiraz, and Tabriz will not remain within Iran's borders. It will reshape the Middle East, disrupt global energy markets, and alter the balance of power just as profoundly as the fall of the Berlin Wall. We too have a duty here, now, to understand the direction of these events and to decide which future we will help bring into being. This is not a moment for spectators. It is a moment for choice and for action. The path of Iran's national revolution in 2026 can still split in several directions. One path leads to brutal repression, a temporary restoration of order bought with blood. which will only sow the seeds of an event more explosive uprising in the future. Another path leads to deception, a polished reformist facade that offers cosmetic change while worming through society while preserving the core of tyranny and postponing the regime's final collapse. Such a mirage may comfort foreign observers, but it will not heal a nation that has already seen too much. And yet there's another path we must help forge. A national movement that secures fundamental institutional change worthy of the modern world. This is the path that the people are already chanting for in the streets. A return to a constitutionalism instead of theocracy. Law instead of fatwa. Accountability instead of absolute rule. President Reagan understood that even the mightiest tyrannies are brittle when their internal contradictions collide with sustained pressure and the courage of free people. The Iranian people today have stripped away the regime's mask and exposed its hypocrisy, its failures, and its fear. They are demanding freedoms rooted in enlightenment and modernity. Freedoms they once knew, not in myth, but in living memory. They remember a time when Iran aspired to science, culture, progress, and they refused to accept a future of darkness and stagnation. Let us then learn the hard lessons history has already paid for in blood. Support the voices of freedom inside Iran. Apply targeted, intelligent pressure on the machinery of repression. And prepare now, seriously, thoughtfully, for both the opportunities and the risks that accompany revolutionary change. In so doing, we affirm a universal, immortal truth. Every human being deserves the liberty to pursue happiness, unchained from superstition and unbound by tyranny. No throne, no ideology, and no regime has the right to stand between a nation and its future. With gratitude to all friends who stand with Iran at this historic hour. Payande Iran. Javid Shah! Javid Shah!